Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Blaine. I'm with my man Brooks. He's still in Paris, but he made some time for us to shoot another episode of the 12th Man Podcast. How you like us now? So, start things off. We're going to get into a little bit of salacious, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of he say, she say, but we put it all on the internet. We're talking about the one and only Argentina's very own, PSG's very own number 9, Mauro Icardi. Brooks, what in tarnation is going on with this man? Help me out. What's up with your boy?
Uh, I guess, I don't know where to start. So, obviously, I don't know who, all right, so, if you follow Icardi or if you follow French soccer, if you follow soccer in general, then you probably know. First of all, let's take this way back.
Yeah, let's go back to Inter Milan with Maxi Lopez.
Yeah.
Let's paint us a picture.
So, a young Icardi flies over to Italy to start his European career. He's in Italy. Maxi Lopez, another Argentine footballer, takes him under his wing and says, "You know what? You're new here. You don't know anything. Come live with us for a while. Let me show you the ropes a little bit. You seem like a nice guy. I'll help you with the language, help you get around, help you with the culture. By the way, here's my wife. This is Wanda." Next thing you know, Wanda and Icardi run off together. They're married. Um, Obviously, there's words. Maxi's upset. Icardi's angry that he's upset. Icardi never plays really much for the national team. In fact, a quick story. Maxi started to talk trash about Icardi, obviously. So Icardi said, "Okay, I got one for you." He tattooed the kids that Maxi had with Wanda. He adopted them and had them tattooed on his body just to say like another F you to Maxi. So this dude is crazy. You gotta respect you gotta respect the craziness that comes with Icardi. But word is he was suspecting some kind of foul play from Wanda for like a little bit of cheating or maybe just some like texting some other dudes.
Which go figure, because that's how you met her. Go
Right,
figure.
exactly.
The foundation for paranoia. Go figure.
Yeah, of course you're gonna be worried because this is what you did. This is how you got her in the first place. So he said, "Let me see your phone." She's like, "All right, let me see yours then." He's like, "Oh shoot, I did not think of this backfiring." So they swap phones. Maybe she's smart enough to delete the text. All you gotta do is swipe left, or she really is honest and hasn't been messing around. But she sees texts with an Argentine actor, China Suarez, you know, and like next thing you know, she's posting pictures of herself without a ring on IG, saying my hand looks better this way. Here you go again, breaking up another family, this and that. All these stories just all over the internet for the whole world to see. Icardi's like, "I can't go to training. I can't play for PSG. In fact, I'm gonna tear up my contract if she doesn't come back to me." PSG is like, "How are we in the middle of this? What do we have to do with your wife coming back to you?" So,
use the club as a bargaining chip.
It's weirdly enough, his wife is also his agent, which I never understand that situation when that's there. But he trained the last few days, traveled today with the team. Yeah, you can see a picture of him, Di Maria, and Messi, somewhat keeping his distance, but it was just the three of them walking to the plane. Oh my gosh, it's just so bad. It's just like, man, when you think that he's playing well, he's putting things together, maybe the Argentine national team will be like, "Okay, we can trust you." Nah.
Stay away.
Stay away. Yeah, this dude's not going back to the national team anytime soon, it seems.
You're not welcome. Your agent's not welcome. Your family's not welcome. That's just, yeah, man. I mean, I saw it. I was speechless. I was just like, well, first off, why are you putting this all, like, it would be one thing if they're like, the paparazzi, like, "Oh, there's Mauro Icardi and mystery girl in, the hotel lobby." And they snap a picture and it's like on the Daily Mail. They're like his wife / agent and him. They are choosing to make this a public affair.
Huge. Yeah. And so just to clear
and bring
up,
other people into it.
Yeah.
Tagging
other
people.
Clubs. Yeah. So just to clear things up, so as far as we know, like he never actually slept with this girl. However, the texts happened, pictures were sent, and I guess all he sent was pictures of him training, like the same pictures he posts on IG. He was like, "Oh, here, like let me send you these." But yeah, they never actually even met because they're in completely different countries. But still, like the way that he, I don't know, is going about all this and has done things in the past, this just like doesn't bode well for him. But then he's like, okay, so they put a picture on IG, like, thank you so much for taking me back, Wanda. I love you so much. You're the engine of our family. And then the next day, he puts a story up and he's like, Wanda, what's going on with this? It's not clear. I don't know what's going on. Like, why are you putting this on Instagram? Just text her, call her, wait it out. Don't put it all over the world. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for you. It doesn't look good for Argentines. It doesn't look good for PSG. It doesn't look good for anybody.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look. That's the. It's like all you can do is laugh. It's like I feel like I can't say anything else about it except for I'm sending positive energy to Mauro Icardi and his family. I hope they figure it out. I hope they can find. I don't know if PSG is gonna keep him around after. They're like at this point, it's like, all right, this man, we know he's a known cheater. He's a home wrecker, and we know his wife is his agent. This is not a great situation. We don't want you around anymore. Like I don't know if it's that bad, but it's like you go to another place and it's like is your wife being your agent going to be a problem? And you only got to think if he tells his wife she can't be his agent, that's not going to go over well.
Right.
So it's like he's put himself in like a bot. He's backed himself into a corner where it's like, come on,
so
man.
bad. This is, I mean, yeah, this is what happens when you use. I mean, this is the saying is like when you think with the wrong head.
Yeah. I mean, and this is half the reason why he basically got banished from Inter Milan.
Yeah, this is why he's in PSG. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, like.
Because the same thing that I love about Icardi is the same thing that I just can't stand about Icardi. It's like he wrote that book. He wrote a memoir like 4 years ago at Inter. Because he had beef with the fans at Inter. I don't know if you know this story. So the fans started to banter him, and he's like, "Let me just write a book real quick, and let me mention this banter in there, and let me just say in this that if any of these fans have a problem with me, I will personally." I just picture him like this, like the Kermit meme, typing his book out.
Yep.
I will fly out 1,000 plus Argentine gangsters to kill every single one of these Inter fans, like.
Is that the definite? Is that what Sempre Avante means?
Right, and does he wear the captain armband?
Like, I don't know. He's nuts.
Because I love the aggression. Let's just like keep that on the field, though. Let's
Like, or keep it on the field, or maybe if you see a guy like you down at the local pizzeria, south side of Milan, tell him to his face. Don't break out the typewriter, write an autobiography and put it on every, bookshelf from here to Sicily. Like, right. That's not going to do you any favors.
Yeah, look where you're at now. I mean, it got you to Paris. I like Milan, though. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it
all worked out. It all worked out.
Yeah, it's just a mess. Everything about that guy is a mess. And it's just so sad because he's got so much talent. I mean, he was scoring machine in Inter. And even for the most, like, when he comes on the field, like, he's very much a threat each time he gets on the field, with Paris. So, it's sad. It's sad. It's very good. It's good entertainment, to read these tweets and see these pictures. Like, they bear it all for us. For everyone on Instagram, they're not private. They're not hiding anything. It's just
it's there. What do they call that? Telenovela?
It is. I mean, it really is. It's a living telenovela. My grandmother would love this if she had Instagram.
Looking forward to the next autobiography.
Right. There's got to be a volume 2 coming soon.
Volume 2, Mi Amor. Or something. I don't know what he's going to call it. But all right. Well, I think that's probably enough about the gossip. I guess it's not gossip. It's all facts. Icardi confirmed all of it. But... So, I mean, I guess just stay current. Today, or this weekend, seemed like it was a bunch of, I guess what you would call classics, right? El Clasico. There was the historic English game between Man U and Liverpool. Inter versus Juventus. Paris versus,
Marseille.
yeah. I feel like there was another game too. Maybe
You saw Man
not.
U, Liverpool. You said
Yeah,
that already?
yeah. I feel like there was one other, and it wasn't. Oh, yeah. Okay, so check this out. I just woke. So in between this morning, I don't know if this has a specific name, but it was Ajax versus PSV in the Eredivisie also. Which I don't know if that's like a historic match, but those are, in my opinion, probably the two biggest clubs from the Dutch leagues. You know.
I mean, probably currently, yeah.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Madrid won as expected, and what? Go for it. What you
No, I
saying?
was just gonna say at Barcelona too. It's just
Yeah, took it to him. And the sad part, man, like I'm a Barcelona fan. I like a lot of players on Madrid. The sad part though was this was like no more restrictions. All the fans, full stadium. They're happy. Everyone's out there. Madrid brings it to them. Barcelona could have won. They could have did it. They maybe not won, but it definitely could have been a different game had they took advantage of some of their early chances. I'm not going to name any names of who didn't make the most of their chances, but
yeah, probably because they're American.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I will say, Kuhn's
Dest, keep your head up, Dest. Keep your head up.
Yeah, it's just a classico. Listen, Kun Aguero got on the field. He put his first goal in finally. Where was Memphis Depay there? I do think that you're right. They could have won. At least they could have drawn. Like it could have been a little bit more close. But it's still a very new young team / manager. But I mean, pretty much the same story goes for Madrid too. That's a very young team that they're continually fielding. I do think they have a little bit better veteran leadership. But hey, David Alaba, love to see when that guy scores for. So that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I guess kind of where I want it to go with this, Brooks, was like, so looking at the two sides, so Real Madrid, Barcelona, I mean, honestly, there is a little bit more veteran leadership at Madrid, like you said. They got their trio in the middle of the park, Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, Benzema up top. But besides that, relatively youthful.
Mm-hmm.
Same could be said for the Barcelona team. Busquets, Piqué,
Piqué,
Jordi Alba.
Yeah.
Maybe Ter Stegen's a part of the senior staff now. I don't know. He's been there for a little while. And then, rest is relatively young. A couple of other guys like, Memphis ain't a spring chicken no more, but, he's in it. For whatever it's worth. Okay. Relatively same squad. Two completely different managers, in my opinion. You got one manager that's capable. You got another manager. I'm not going to say he's not capable, but he's not very, in my opinion, he's not very good. You look at another classic football match that happened today, Man U versus Liverpool. There was a winner, there was a loser, to a more drastic, means. Liverpool smashed them 5-0. Ronaldo had a goal, but they got chalked off. Man, I knew they were going to beat him. I didn't want them to beat him because I don't want Liverpool to win ever, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad, dude. They ran through them. Like Swiss cheese. It was bad.
They just needed one half.
One half. It looked like when, I'm not even going to compare other things. It was just, they needed one half, and if they would have been in a better mood, they probably could have scored 10 goals. They probably easily. Let's say this. Okay, so I looked at the lineups, and so people know we're going to be talking about some management stuff today, some management styles, tactics, this, that, and the other. But I looked at the lineup for Liverpool, and I looked at the lineup for Man U, and I said to myself, okay, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's an idiot. He didn't learn anything from the Champions League match during the week. He basically fielded the same squad. This should be enough for anyone that supports the team to know that he's a bad manager and he needs to be put out. I look at Liverpool's lineup, and there were two things that stood out to me that were different. And I was like, okay, they're starting the kid that they got from RB Leipzig in the back with Virgil van Dijk, and they're starting Diego Jota instead of Mane. I'm like, Jota's good. Don't know much about the kid from RB Leipzig because he didn't play a ton when he was there, but they paid 50 mil for him. So it could be a Ben White situation, or it could be, it could be a Ruben Diaz situation. It could go either way. Turned out it was more Ruben Diaz. No disrespect to Ben White. I'm just making jokes. No disrespect to Ben White. He did good.
Benjamin White, yeah, he had a good run yesterday.
Yeah,
he did well Friday.
He came through. The whole team came through. Up to, Arsenal, they looked good. I actually enjoyed that game. I was texting my old man. I was texting all my Gunner fans. That was actually a really good game. I was happy for him. Legitimate happiness. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, Brooks, is I think, and this is where I feel like I'm crazy. If Jurgen Klopp was the manager of Man U and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager of Liverpool, I think the results would have been the exact opposite. And I kind of feel the same way about the El Clasico as well with Carlo Ancelotti and Ronald Koeman. And I feel like these managers are just getting these tactics and their team selection so wrong. And maybe I'm off base here, but I feel like these managers are really making and breaking these clubs, and no one's doing anything about it. And I don't know why.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think we've talked about this before too, but I really do think that Carlo Ancelotti is one of the best managers out there. I think that had PSG kept him around and continued to grow their team to what it is now, for example, I think that Ancelotti could lead the current PSG team and even the PSG team of the last few years to a Champions League title at this point already. They obviously got rid of him, as they do, with most of their managers after a couple of years. But I think far and away he's the best manager PSG's ever had, including Pochettino, who is obviously Argentine. So I obviously have a lot of love for him, but he's no Carlo Ancelotti. And I mean, it's tough. I'm looking at the lineup right now for Man U, and we talked about this last week. It's just when, in the Champions League game that Man U should have lost, but Ronaldo won it for them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just does not have the bench to start, to play who he played that game. Today I don't think was as bad. I just don't really know what Scott McTominay is doing there at the club in general. Bruno Fernandes sitting back on that, looking in this, I don't know, looks like he's supposed to be the number 10. I would have absolutely not. I don't know. I mean, you've got, just to give you an example, you got Paul Pogba on the bench, you got Cavani on the bench, you've got Sancho on the bench, you got Dean Henderson on the bench. I mean, De Gea obviously is proven. He's really great, but maybe his time has passed. I don't know. I'm not a huge De Gea fan as of late. I do think that Dean Henderson is pretty great for a keeper, but, we can kind of skip that. But Paul Pogba on the bench, Jadon Sancho on the bench. I mean, you started Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
Against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho didn't get it. It just doesn't. Jadon Sancho didn't even make it into the game. You pay $80 million for this guy, $72 million, he didn't even make it into the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty confusing. It's pretty upsetting. He definitely. It's just I guess you said it. That's all that has to be said. Is he continually gets the tactics wrong. He did last week in Champions League. Ronaldo had to step up at halftime and say X, Y, Z. If we don't win this, we're not going through to the next round. We're better than this.
Yep.
It looked like some changes were made at halftime. Obviously, nothing happened here. I didn't really pay much attention to what happened with Paul Pogba getting that red card, but he should have been on there from the first minute of the game.
Yeah. And
I also think that McTominay should not have been out there to begin with. But just to be clear, I don't think that they obviously don't have as good of a team as Liverpool. Liverpool has an incredible team. I don't know why Mane wasn't starting. I love that guy, but he came in, got his, but yeah, I just don't think Solskjaer is your man. It's been a few years now. Going back, I mean, we talked about this a little bit before this call. David Moyes bringing West Ham up and up and up and up. Could you imagine if you just gave him some time? You didn't even give him as much time as, obviously, Solskjaer has been there longer.
He got less than half a season.
Yeah.
Moyes was out. Threw him out like a dog.
Gone. Didn't give him even a full... it was... You see what he's doing with much less. You saw what he did with much less at Everton. It just doesn't make sense.
bro, and that's what I mean. Like, so back to what you said. You said obviously, I mean, obviously Liverpool has a much better squad than Man U.
Mm-hmm.
They have a better squad. I mean, player for player, like there's a few exceptions. Like everyone would
Yeah.
take Pogba over a Jordan Henderson. You would probably take Bruno Fernandes over Fabinho. But like when it comes down to it, like 8, 9 players out of their starting 11, you would take over anybody on the Man U side. The point I'm trying to make, and this is a testament to how bad I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is he could have that squad, and Jurgen Klopp could have the Man U squad and get more out of them to the point where they could beat Liverpool 5-0. This is the same reason they being Man U lost to Young Boys, Swiss club. You know, you know, we're talking top 15 leagues in Europe. We're not even top 5. Like how does that how does that even happen? And I heard, so I think it was Gary Neville, he was on the Sky Sports show, and this is what he said, and it made sense. So you look at the Man U team, all those guys are walking around. They all think they're the best player on the team. They all think they are the guy. They think they're the man and that everybody is there working for them. Which the reality, and whether or not you agree with this or not, Ronaldo is the man at the club. And you might not like this, but they're all working for him. He's 36 years old. He's not running. He's not defending. He defended in the Champions League, but that was a one-off. He's not doing that. But, like McTominay's out there. He thinks he's the star. Bruno thinks he's the star. Luke Shaw thinks he's the star. Like Harry Maguire thinks he's the star. And like they all play with like this level of arrogance. And I feel like a coach like a Jurgen Klopp could like kind of knock them down a peg and get these guys to like give their all. Like you got Mohamed Salah's running back and forth all day long like he's a track star.
Right.
No ego, no, swagger about him. I mean, he's a cool guy and all, but he's not like he's not like I'm too cool to defend. I'm not too cool to tackle. Like I'm here to do a job and I'm going to do my job and I'm going to run my butt off. And I think that comes from the coach.
You're
like
right.
and that's all I gotta say. It's like if those guys at Man U gave 100% every game, they could win the league if they wanted to, but they don't because their coach is weak and he's soft. And I hate that Man U fans have to hear me talk about their coach like this, but that's how I feel, and it's sad. It's sad, and that's all I'm gonna say about those two. But we can talk about some other managers because I feel the same way about a lot of managers. David Moyes isn't one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Real quick, I will say, I think you're absolutely right. I think that we saw that change pretty darn quick once Jurgen Klopp took over at Liverpool. And not to say Brendan Rodgers isn't, great because he's done some really good things with Leicester. But as soon as Jurgen Klopp took over, it was just like a whole new era. People knew
Night
what
and
they
day.
were getting into. Yeah, it's like he's like, and he came out on TV. He was like, oh, all these sad little boys. He called them boys. He's like, that don't want to come play for Liverpool because of 1 year without Champions League. I feel bad for you. I feel bad that that's what you're basing me off of and this club off of is 1 year of no Champions League football. Fine, we don't want you anyway. And look at them now. And that's the kind of man that I want to go play for. If somebody told me that, if they called me and was like, hey, we want you to play, and my answer was, oh, but you're not in Champions League this season. And he said to me, okay, you know what? This is your fault. You're acting like a little boy. I promised you we're going to get there and you're going to be sad when you miss out on this. I'd be like, okay, never mind. I want to come back and play for you right now. Like, I don't care if you're not even in any European league whatsoever. The way that he carries himself, the way that he coaches you, the things that he says, is always just something that will kind of get you going, get you inspired. You see him after every single win, pumping his fist, doing the Klopp celebration. It's like, yo, this is the guy I want to play for. Meanwhile, you got Ollie here kind of sulking around saying, I'm the right man for the job. I have a great coaching staff that gives their all. Like, come on. First of all, one more thing I will say. I'm just looking at this lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellow cards.
Oh yeah, the game was out of control.
And a red.
Yeah.
7 people carded on Man United. 0 on Liverpool. I get that things get heated, but I do think that that's just kind of another maybe a little bit of proof that.
Yeah, lack of discipline.
It's just and I'm only bringing this up mostly just because I hear about it a lot from fans going in on Arteta because of all the red cards that Arsenal have got over the last couple years that he's been in charge. And I think I do have to agree that like as a coach, it is your job to keep things tied up and wrangled in, and clearly this is getting out of hand. 7 cards. It's and one of them was red. Like that's you don't have control over your team at this point. The locker room is probably gone if it's this bad on the field. So, I mean, doesn't.
So you didn't watch the game though, did you?
No, I was at. I don't even know where I was. I think at that point I was at crying my eyes out.
Yeah, watching the James Bond flick. It's all good. So two things. The Ronaldo yellow card, hilarious.
Really?
Hilarious. So I sent you a picture. You probably couldn't tell. Yeah, so what it was the ball, I can't remember who it was, but whoever it is, the ball went down and the ball was like kind of like cradled around their stomach, and Ronaldo just blasts the ball.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah, which is clearly like lack of discipline and like tremendous frustration. I mean, at that point they were probably 3-0 in the game. Pogba comes in after the half, his tackle straight red. I mean, it could have went either way. He got a yellow. VAR told him to look at it. They went back. His ball, so one foot was under the ball, the other foot came over the ball. Obviously, Naby Keita also got carted off the field. It's hard to not give someone a red card when the other guy leaves the field on a stretcher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think it was malicious, but, you know.
To be honest, though, I mean, Pogba's got to keep that in check because against Wolves, he should have. I mean, he got.
It's
nothing.
still reckless.
It's kind of. I mean, it's kind of getting reckless at this point. And they won that game. Obviously, it was a much better situation. Fans from Man U are going to hate. But listen, it happens to Arsenal essentially week in and week out for less. So that, to me, he says I didn't touch him. You see his shin guard move from the front of his shin to like his calf. Like you absolutely touched him. So and people have been red carded for less, at least carded for less. So
people have been carded for which I mean, I personally I think it should have been a red card. I mean, maybe I said it might have been a yellow card, but I think it should have been. Like, my belief is if you, like, unless it's a 50-50 ball and you're just so strong that, like, you break the other guy's leg on it, it's both, like, no contact, just both feet on ball and you just break them down, fair game. But, like, if you cause another player to be stretched off the field, you got to do the time. Like, intentional, unintentional, you know, trailing foot, like, you know, accidental concussion, like, you gotta go. Like, because no matter what it is, like, it was like, if you did something so dramatic or dreadful that it caused someone to leave, I think, and people might flame us, but I'm saying that's excessive force. And, like, you don't need that. We don't need that. I don't like that.
I will say about Ronaldo, like, I do think that I don't want to get hated. I'm more likely to give Ronaldo a pass just because the only time he really gets a yellow card is when he takes his shirt off. He's pretty level-headed, to be honest. He gets angry, he gets frustrated with this. It's more of like the competitor inside of him rather than like losing control of who he is and what. Maybe today it was a little bit of that. I didn't see it, so I can't comment on that. But the picture that you sent me, I was like, "Yo, what is this guy doing?" But for the most part, Ronaldo keeps it pretty level-headed. He does get super, super, super competitive, which obviously is what we all love about him. So I would say that that's obviously less of, you know, a lack of control in the game and just like him thinking, what is going on right now? Like, it's 3-0 to Liverpool. We're at home. This is just super frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, it's happening again type of thing. I don't know. I don't like to give people a pass, but like, I could say that probably Ronaldo's was a little bit, I don't know, different than, I don't know, Harry.
Pass accepted, man. The pass is valid. We'll take the pass. We'll take the pass, dude. I mean, it happens to a lot of players. Like, I can think of another specific time. I think my team, my man, Eden Hazard, playing against Swansea. You know, they're down. Time's ticking. Ball goes out for a throw. Ball boy from Swansea goes to get the ball. You seen the videos? You know what I'm talking about? My man kicked him in the ribs. He kicked him in the ribs. You know? You know? It happens. You know, people, they're human. I mean, I'm not making excuses. He got carded. He got, you know, suspended. There's no excuse for kicking a 17-year-old ball boy for wasting time. And the thing, here's one thing I don't understand. And whenever the game is winding down and like people start wasting time, they start throwing the ball. Like Mbappe's like trying to do a crossover, throws the ball the opposite way, he gets pushed over. Now they're getting yellow cards. I don't understand why the team that's looking to get the ball back and play so fast gets so mad. There's a ref. He's on the field. He sees it. He's going to give you the time back. Oh, right. But it's probably because there's some advantage that they may or may not had. But I feel like a lot of times there's no real advantage. It's not like they got like 3 guys on the left side and they can send the early ball. It's just like they're just mad because they're losing and you're like messing with them. So like they take the bait and then they get carded because it's like I don't know. It's fun. It's funny to me to watch. And sometimes I do it when my team is winning just because it's fun. But it's like, come on, man. Like, we've been playing for 90 minutes. You think me throwing the ball down 5 seconds that way is going to make a difference for you? I don't know. Right. I mean, I might be off base here. It's just, it's funny to me, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like it's in the 90th minute, so it's even more of a crunch time thing. And they're like, oh, this is like do or die now in the last couple minutes of the game. But yeah, no, I'm with you. But just back to your original point, like, I used to be, obviously you and I are both not Man U supporters, but I love I love the history of it. I love that it's a very storied franchise. They've kind of won it all. I love that Ronaldo's back. It's just really hard to see OGS running the show right now. And so, that being said, I do think that just to go a little bit more off of that, I think that I wanted him to be the right man, because who wouldn't want, the guy that scored the game-winning goal, who was somewhat of a legend, been with the club. I mean, who wouldn't want him to work out? Plus, he's a nice guy. Who doesn't want? I mean, I love when nice guys get, things work out for them. But at this point, I just don't. After this, he's just not the right guy. It just seems that it's all going wrong. I mean, losses are going to happen, but this is just back to back, and it just keeps happening. This doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. I am excited to see what David Moyes does with West Ham, though, because that's a really fun team to watch right now. Yeah. And what are they at, like 6th? They won again today.
Yeah, dude. Let me just see. Let me see. Premier League table. They might be 6th.
4th.
4th, dude. Yeah, 17 points. 3 behind City. All on 9 games, too. It's tight.
Can you name 4 players on the West Ham squad?
Yeah. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right, you got my man Antonio up top, right?
That I can do.
Yo, okay, you got Fabianski in the net. You got my man Declan Rice. You got my man Declan Rice. You got my boy Souček. Okay. Who else we got? You got Souček.
You got an Argentine.
Oh, Buendia. Or what's his name? Anyway, I mean, I could probably name more, but that's 4, so we're going to cut it. Okay. We're going to cut it. Jesse Lingard last season.
That's true. I was just saying, like, with that squad, Mark Noble. I would have probably gone up with Mark Noble. But Manu Lanzini, he played for the Argentine national team a couple times.
Yeah, Lanzini. My man Kurt Zuma. Kurt Zuma.
There.
Diop. I'm looking at the roster now, though.
I just love when they beat the other North London team. But anyway, I think that David Moyes did not get enough credit or time at Man United. He should still be there, I think.
Well, dude, and that's the thing. Like, to piggyback off you, yeah. So it's like they give the wrong managers they give the wrong manager the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you see, and that's the crazy thing. And it's like, yeah, like you said, he's a nice guy. Frank Lampard was a nice guy, and he was coaching the team that he saw so much success at Chelsea.
But he was doing better than Ollie is doing.
Yeah, he was. And that's facts. He was doing better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, and he still got the boot.
He was bringing the young guys in. He was graduating them into the senior team. Like, he was making it far in Champions League. I think that he was doing a much better job. I get that it's a tougher role at Chelsea than it is at United because you have Abramovich as your owner, but I think he was doing a better job.
Yeah, and I'm not even, the point I'm just making is they fired him. They got in a real coach.
Yeah.
And you see the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, it's like they didn't, and I feel like, you know, if a guy's messing up, I feel like for me personally, like you got to give a guy at least 18 months to steady the ship and to figure out what way the team's going to go. Like David Moyes didn't even get a full season. No. You gave him a full season, it might have been a beautiful spring.
And they only let him bring in Fellaini? Really?
Yeah, maybe Di Maria. Maybe Di Maria came under him. That was under.
I think it was under what's his name, but I could be wrong.
The Dutch coach that also brought in Memphis Depay. What was his name?
Van.
He's
Gaal?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, he's gone now, dude. He's completely retired. Yeah, LVG. I would have never remembered that. I just remember his face.
Yeah, same, man. That face. So I haven't had this conversation. My question to you is: do you think, just bringing this back to the red side, do you think that Mikel Arteta is the right man for Arsenal? He won an FA Cup. He won a Community Shield, which whatever.
So here's the thing.
Played for the club. What do you think?
Yeah. So I go in between the start of the season, and maybe this is how the machine of propaganda works. Beginning of the season, get him out of here. He sucks. You suck. You're weak. You're too soft. You're pushover. Too many manicures. Just kidding. Now they're getting results. So me, like if I was an Arsenal fan, this is how I would feel. Like if you were able to go out and get like Antonio Conte, yeah, replace him. But at the same time, let him finish the season. Maybe I would have fired him at the beginning of the season, but now that didn't happen, he's doing good. As long as they finish, I'd say top 7, top 6, keep him.
Do you think they'll finish top 6? Because that's the goal, really. I mean, obviously winning the league or being at the very least top 4, 3, really, but top 4 is like the goal. If they're top 6, then they at least make Europe. What do you do with him? Do you keep him?
It depends. So this is a situation where it's like, if they finish, I think they could finish top 7. If they finish top 7, to me, this isn't a situation where you're firing a guy because he didn't meet the mark. You're firing a guy because you found someone better. Like, for example, you remember when City hired Pep? Yeah. And they got rid of, I think it was Mancini or I can't remember. But it's like, they didn't let you go because I think they won the league. So they didn't let you go because you're not doing the job. They let you go because someone more qualified and better was available and had, ties with the director of sporting and, investment groups and backdoors. And I'm not going to get into it. But like that's a move where it's like, oh yeah, like, of course you're going to take Pep over Mancini. That's a no-brainer. So it's like if there was another manager that like made themselves available, say Patrick Vieira does wonders at Crystal Palace and they finish in 5th. And you want to go get Patrick Vieira. Like I feel like that would be
legend.
The legend. Like that would be like Arteta could respectfully step back and say, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like my feelings probably aren't as hurt as that because like I know a better man is getting the job and it's not that I failed. It's just that there's someone better to do the job. So I mean that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I'm with you with that. But and just to one thing that I'm gonna say to kind of top this off is that the one thing that I can see now, and maybe not as much as like other diehard Arsenal fans think that they see, which is more delusion than anything, but I do see with Arteta now finally a a vision or a direction that they're going in, especially after this last transfer window. So,
Young.
they brought in everyone they bought essentially was 24 or younger, and it seemed like they all had a specific skill set that they're bringing to this team that can work years from now. 24 is mad young in football.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he signed 2 very promising youngsters that grew up in the squad to longer term contracts. So I think that what an Arsenal fan sees right now is that, and it's like, okay, cool, like I can finally see a direction that we're moving in. We've got a young squad. We've got a squad that's like starting to become cohesive. They're learning together. They're growing together. They're starting to play a prettier type of football that we're known to play under Wenger. And so this is kind of going a direction that we're trying to see. We're starting to get a little bit tougher mentality, grind out either a draw or a win. And so I do think that there's a little bit more direction under Arteta than there has been in the last couple of years, but it's still a pretty early on in the season. Not to mention the first couple of games of the season were Aubameyang was out sick. Benjamin White caught COVID again. Also, there have been a couple of injuries that he had to deal with. So now that we're kind of like seeing them all come together, it is a little bit more promising. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that if someone else comes along that's better, if Carlo Ancelotti becomes available, then yeah, you get rid of Arteta. But for right now, I think that I don't really know who's available that's better unless Zizou comes through and is like, hey, I've been an Arsenal fan my whole life. Let me have a shot at this.
Yeah, stuff like that. And like, I'm glad you actually brought my man Zidane up, because I was thinking, like, for me, there's like different kinds of managers, right? There's like a man, like if Zizou's your manager, you're giving your 100%, even if he doesn't manage you. Just like him being on the touchline will inspire you to play your best football.
Yeah,
it's like,
just hit him in the stands.
Yeah, he's watching. Okay, like he's inspired the other team to put in a shift too. Like that's undeniable. Like other managers, you got guys like, let's say like Pep Guardiola or Pochettino, like guys that were like they played the sport, but they weren't as good. They weren't icons for their teams. They played for teams, but they weren't icons. They were just like, middle of the road players, good enough to make the cut.
Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But granted, Arteta, I hope he figures it out. But like these guys, like they end up being really good managers just because of the tactics. They know how to talk to people. They know how to motivate off of a different, not like you don't necessarily respect them because they're good at it. You respect them because they're good enough to know what you should do to be better.
You're right.
And I like that, to be honest. I don't know which manager type I prefer. Like if we're saying like archetypes of managers, like inspirers, fearmongers, guys that give you like positive reinforcers. Like, like Jose Mourinho, he's like a fearmonger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to say it. Yeah. I think that's the difference between coach and manager, right? Now Arteta, for example, just to bring this back, like has a manager role. And I think that, people who have managed people before know that it's essentially babysitting. And it's like, okay, well, I need to get this person who I know can do this job better, or at least, can do this role, for example. I need to bring them in and get them here. So like managing, I think, is a bit different than coaching because you're bringing in people that are fit for your management style, for example. But yeah, that's a really good point you bring up, because you do need to know how to manage these people, and you need to know how each player is going to react to your management style. If they'll react, will it be positive? Will it be negative? Will they take this criticism, or are they going to just have this ego and be like, "No, I'm out of here"?
Yeah. Well, dude, it's like, so I know like playing with like guys from like that I grew up with, like there's certain guys that are like much better than I'll ever be at the sport. But for whatever reason, like they have all the talent in the world, and we go to play a game and like they just can't, they're just not doing what you need them to do. They're like doing like bad passes, shooting from like midfield. And it's like, 40 yards out, and it's like, okay, like the question here isn't whether or not this guy has talent. It like the question here is like finding somebody that can manage this guy to get the most out of him. And that's like when you like look at like situations where you have like a team of performers and they're not performing. And it's like I used to not understand. It's like people are like, okay, the coach is the problem. The manager is the problem. And it's like, well, he didn't score the goal. And it's like, yeah, because he's not being managed properly. Like they're not, like it's I get yeah, like you said, it's kind of like babysitting. It's like they're kids. It's like, yo, like you got to tell them what they need to hear or figure out what they need to hear so that they perform the way that's going to help you and the team win. And if you don't do that, they're not going to do that. And that's why it falls on you. And that's, I mean, that's the long and short of it. And that's, I mean, in like whatever that method is, that's what boils down to like the different, styles. But it all, whether, just you being there and giving a guy a look lets him know, okay, knock out the funny business. It's time for me to like hustle back and play D. Or you tell a nice, eloquent story that gets that guy to believe in a philosophy, and now he's more willing to like do cardio so he can get back or whatever, I don't know. It's weird, but some guys got it, other guys don't, and it's a shame that certain teams are stuck with certain managers that don't know how to manage. They probably know how to coach, but they don't know how to manage, and for whatever reason, the boards or the owners won't let them go. And for other times, the boards or the directors keep them for too long. And it's how you can see, a top 4 team get relegated and never make it out of, the second or third division of the footballing pyramid in the top 5 leagues. I mean, it's happened. Like, it's happened. You've seen it happen. We've all seen it happen. Like, when I was, like, in my 20s, QPR was in the Premier League.
Right.
They haven't been in the Premier League since.
Crazy.
Like, how does that happen? Like, that doesn't just happen overnight. It's a series of bad managers and bad management, I guess, at any level. And now we're talking about something much more than just, 11 guys on a field. So maybe I'm just going to cut it there. But that's all I got, man. I feel like I've talked way too much, but that's my closing thoughts. What do you want to end with?
No, I think that's all great. I think that you hit it right on the head there. Especially it's coaching. I mean, you don't get your managing badges, you get your coaching badges.
Yeah.
You don't you go to learn coaching. It's a very different style than managing.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I mean, nothing else needs to be said. I will say maybe in the future we talk about I think we talked about this offline, but like, why did the now Newcastle owners buy Newcastle when a club like, for example, QPR in London is available? For me, I would have bought a London club if I had all the money in the world.